Okay, here's the unit, the 2-bay RAID unit. These are two new high quality h264 4TB drives. That's one. And that's another one. Now we'll turn it on, holding the button for 10 seconds. It's in normal position. So that's showing it's in the normal position. And now on the computer it's starting to show G drive and F drive fired up. So now, just move that up. We'll go to C drive and copy a folder with a variety of files to F drive and paste. And here's the speed. It starts off very high, but it soon settles down to... Now this is an AVI file, quite a large file, and it's still only copying at 50 to 60 megabytes per second in the 50s or 60s. And once it's done the AVI file, it goes through some JPEGs, still in the 50s megabytes per second, sometimes in the 60s, 50s to 60s, and it says 8 minutes and 30 seconds. So we'll let that run for a little minute. But it's still copying in the 50s or 60s of megabytes per second. This is from local drive C to new volume F. Now that's the bottom drive of the Orico 2-bay unit. That's the slow drive. It's now up to 9 minutes that it thinks it's going to take. So we'll stop that. Now we'll go to the C drive, same folder, and we'll copy, but this time to the G drive. We'll paste. So now once again it starts off very fast, but here's the AVI file and it's copying at 130 to 140 megabytes per second, much faster. And once the AVI is finished and it's into the JPEGs, it does drop, but it drops to 80, 90 and even up into the hundreds of megabytes per second. So it's much faster than the bottom bay, and instead of 8 or 9 minutes, it says it's only going to take about 5 minutes. So the top bay copies much faster than the bottom bay. Now, to show you that it's nothing to do with the hard disks, I'll stop all that. Now I'll safely eject the drive. It says safe to remove. They've both gone. So now I'll switch it off and remove the drives. I want to make sure you can see these drives. Now I'm going to use the same USB cord, and this time I'm going to put it into another Orico. I bought this at the same time as I bought the 2-bay unit, and this is just a USB 3 single bay, same SATA 3.0 6 gigabits per second. Its specification is exactly the same as this unit. So we'll put that unit aside. And I'm going to fit the first of these two hard disks in there. Alright, so we can see that. I'm going to turn it on. And we'll wait for it to be seen by on the computer. There it goes. Now that's being seen as a G drive. What I'm going to do is format it, same as I did before I put them into the 2-bay unit. So that's formatted. Now I'm going to go to the C drive and copy, go to the C drive and copy the exact same folder to this drive, which is that one there, one of the two drives. So now when I paste the first of these two drives, again, it starts off fast. Here's the AVI file. It's copying at 200 megabytes per second. Now it's already into the JPEGs, still at 170 megabytes per second, 170, 180, and it says it's already gone almost as far as the other two drives did before. It's only going to take 2 minutes and 45 seconds to copy. It's still copying even with the JPEGs. It's copying at 190 megabytes per second. So it's obviously copying much, much faster than either of the drives or either of the bays in the other unit. So now we'll stop that. And eject it properly. And that's safe to remove. So now I'm turning it off. Just wait a moment. Now I'm removing that drive and putting in the other one. I'm turning it on. And we're just waiting for it to show up on the computer. There it is. Now, again, I'll format it. So that for each of these speed tests, they're freshly formatted drives. Once again, to C drive, same folder, copy. To the second drive, again it starts off fast. Here's that AVI file. It's copying at over 200 megabytes per second. Now it's into the JPEGs. It's still copying at 190 and even over the 200 megabytes per second. Down to 170. But still the same speed, 2 minutes and 15 seconds overall, depending on where it is with all the files it's copying, still copying at 190 to 200 megabytes per second. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's copying at the same speed as the other drive was. So both of these drives in this unit are copying at the same speed. The same two drives in that unit copy, the top bay copies faster than the bottom bay. And the bottom bay is only copying at 50 to 60 megabytes per second. The top one is copying faster than that, but still not as fast as these. Both hard disks in that unit, which is a cheaper unit, are copying at 140, 150, 180, 190, 200 megabytes per second. Even with now, it's much further advanced. It's only got a minute to go. It's done the AVI, all the JPEGs. Now it's into some other video files. It's operating much faster. So that's the whole problem, that with a normal external bay with the same USB cable, both of these drives copy very fast using the same files from the C drive. Those two drives in that unit overall copy slower, but the top bay copies faster than the bottom bay. That is not correct. When it's in normal mode, they should just be two drives just like this, and they should copy at the same speed. So when I set them up as a RAID 0 unit, which is what I'm intending to use this for, the overall speed is very, very slow. RAID 0 is supposed to copy very quickly, faster than this unit, but because of the defective bottom bay, which is copying slow compared to the top bay, the whole performance degrades, and the RAID 0 performance, because of the difference in the two bays, they should be the same, but they're not. So because of that defect, the RAID 0 performance is extremely slow and it's unusable. It's not fit for its intended task. That's why I'm showing you that it's defective and why I need a refund for that unit.